Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hair of the Dogcast, your friendly podcast about beer and games and beer and everything like that. And it's a great time to be here with you guys.
So thanks for tuning in. It's been a good episode.
Not at all. Yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Wow, Assassin's Creed, what a rich series.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mm-hmm. You really summed it up.
So yes, gentlemen, welcome to the Dogcast.
Hello,
Thank you.
Tom.
It's always a blast when we're here, especially when we have a new person here who just kind of showed up. And
I arrive on doorsteps. I was asking for food, but then they asked if I played any of the games, and I said, well, yeah, I've played a few.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Uber Eats.
Pong, Pac-Man, it's been a long time.
Those
since
are the video games.
It's like, you said, have you played Assassin's Creed? And I said, well, if Donkey Kong is like Assassin's Creed, then yeah, absolutely.
They're similar. They're both video games.
Yes.
They are. And I mean, you move in them, you jump sometimes.
Really?
So this here is Dylan, and I know Dylan from another podcast.
Yes.
Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Dylan. I used to be one of the main hosts of Better in 3D, but
A fine podcast.
it's a very good podcast.
Available on podcast services everywhere.
But I have a night job, and most of the times they record, I can't. So
Speaking of having a job, I have a job.
Oh yeah,
Brad's got a job. Were you unemployed the last time you recorded?
No, it's been a while. I went out to Portland since the last time we recorded.
Absolutely. A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
There have been changes. There have been things.
I got kicked out of a bathroom in Portland. I'm not going to talk about it. But
What?
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, I work at Good City now. So come see me there. I'm like 40 hours a week going to be slanging beers. So I'd love to see you.
Right on.
It's the future. It's the future of beer.
There's two locations
downtown.
in Milwaukee. Okay.
Downtown, yeah.
The downtown, right by the Bucks arena.
Yeah, by the Fiserv. Couldn't be any closer. One of my coworkers said he met Ice Cube the other day.
Really?
Yeah, because Ice Cube was doing like he was lost.
He was in Punch Bowl too. Yeah.
There was he was hosting an event at the Fiserv with basketball stuff. I guess they had a basketball and they were shooting it. But he said Mr. Cube was very nice. So
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Cube. That's like rubbing shoulders with royalty.
So
I'd have to say it was a good day.
have you been doing any gaming lately, Tom?
Brad, I'm so glad you asked. I'm
happy about
it too. See, well, first of all, I feel a little left out here because you guys are already drinking beer, and as you know, Hair of the Dogcast is a podcast about beer and games and beer. We drink real beer on this podcast.
Yeah,
and I feel like
it's true.
I feel like we should just start. I should just start drinking as well. So.
It's kind of what cool kids do. So
right. So
I learned that at age 13, and I haven't stopped.
Brad, what are we drinking, man?
I was out in Portland, and this is one of the newer breweries out there. It's called Little Beast. A lot of awesome like sours and wilds. Everything I had there was top notch. Really impressed with it.
Yeah.
And this is Hot Break. It is a dry hop sour ale.
Ooh.
If you get a chance and you're in Portland, Oregon, get some of it.
Wow. This is going to get the taste buds
This smells
flowing.
This smells lovely.
It does smell good.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers. Dylan, thanks for coming on the podcast,
I appreciate you inviting me. I love talking about video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also...
Well, that's delicious.
We're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed. And I wanted you on because I know you're a gamer, but you're also a huge conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Kind of guy. And
I have
oh, this is going to be great then.
Specifically, I can talk about a few of the things where I'm kind of like, I don't know. Because that's my general kind of ideology.
Right on.
I don't know, but sometimes it's like, come on. Okay.
That's right, man. So affix the tinfoil hats.
Well, as we know, every major character in history is linked to the Assassins or the Templars.
It's amazing. Doing the research, they are. Everybody is related.
Every prominent, historical figure. Every one of them.
We didn't go to the moon just to prove how cool we were. There's a piece of Eden up there, and that's why JFK wanted to go there, and that's why he was assassinated.
It's true.
Well, yeah.
The progenitors of the first civilization put it up there, if you didn't know.
Yes. So,
oh, my goodness. I
don't think we've got that far into the timeline. And maybe we can touch on this later, but Neil Armstrong Assassin or Templar?
He's definitely an assassin.
I'd veer towards Templar.
You think so?
I would too.
He seems pretty
I don't
organized.
know why.
Assassins, I imagine, would be more disheveled. He had a good haircut.
Maybe. Well, I mean, he had to. He had to wear those suits.
Well, the Templars were in charge at that point because JFK was replaced by a Templar. So the people choosing who would be on the mission would have wanted Templars to be the ones to grab it, unless he was a double agent assassin, which there's a lot of that.
Right. Or remember when the real Paul McCartney was killed? He was an assassin, and then they replaced him with
Paul McCartney. He's alive, dude.
I call him Faux McCartney.
Faux McCartney. Yeah.
Is he dead?
It's true.
Who's
it's
that?
on
You
an
don't know that?
album. It's
The
on
theory?
Sgt. Pepper's.
Who's the
Paul is dead.
Who's the lady?
Do you ever see that documentary?
Murder She Wrote. Isn't that Paul McCartney?
Who?
Murder She Wrote.
What?
Angela Lansbury. that's
not Paul McCartney.
No, that's Paul McCartney, who decided a long time ago that he wanted to transition, and then someone else took over as Paul McCartney.
Right. 10 years old is time, mate.
The things you can do with money.
Yes. Anyways, you asked me about what I was playing, Brad. Thanks. Wow. How did we go? Angela Lansbury to Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, Brad.
Oh, boy.
I've been playing... Well, I'm actually done playing this. I finished this game.
Yeah.
And
you finished it on the Switch. Bravo.
Yeah. Okay. No, the Xbox version.
Okay.
This is the version I got for the Kickstarter, and I quickly realized I'm not going to play this version. But
Just wait for a few patches. It'll be all right.
and they're still waiting to
Patches.
patch it. Yeah.
Patches.
Yeah.
I
We'll talk a lot about patches today.
think this is my favorite game of the year so far. It just checked all the boxes for me as far as you being the follower to Symphony of the Night, or just being kind of
spiritual successor.
Sometimes a blatant rip-off successor.
Yeah,
But
I've been getting a lot of text messages from at all times of the day from Tom saying you got to play it now.
It needs to be in your life.
Yeah.
It needs to be in everyone's life, especially if you like those games. Like,
I'm gonna try it. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale a little though.
Sure.
Is it the full $60 or is it a $40 purchase?
I think it's $40.
I think it's 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
40.
would buy that on my PC. I would definitely play that.
Absolutely. Like, there have been very few games in the last year or two where I literally just sat down and I spent a whole day playing the game, and just, usually I can play games in hour top increments or 2 hours. And I'm just like, I just want to do something else. But yeah, a couple weeks ago, just freaking mainlined the game like one Sunday. 10 hours of straight, just unadulterated, bloodstained action. It was awesome.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. So yeah, and I'm still playing Judgment and getting through that story.
Yeah,
I've heard
for the
mixed things
PS4.
about Judgment.
I was really hot on it when I started, and I'm still pretty positive about it. I do enjoy playing it, but now the story is going into some bonkers directions where it's like, okay.
I'm not even familiar with Judgment. What is Judgment?
It's from the makers of Yakuza.
Yeah.
So it's like a detective tale.
We talked about this on the episodes. Yeah.
But this is one of the first ones in a recent memory that are all English voice acting. They did a great localization of it. The story is very interesting, but I thought it might be kind of like getting towards the middle or winding down, and then you can tell oh no, it's just kind of getting started. And
There's something about that that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like when you experience something like that. Like speaking of Symphony of the Night, like when you realize at the end that. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Oh no!
That Shaft, the evil priest Shaft, has been controlling Richter Belmont, and
Yes.
so if you destroy the little Orby behind him with the special ring on,
The glasses.
the glasses, that's the one. Then you realize that there's an entire second half, which is just the inverted castle, but it's still really cool.
It's cool. It's kind of lazy game design though too.
I liked it. I thought it worked within the fiction really well.
The Upside Down, I thought that was actually pretty good game design.
Where the other castle comes down from out of the sky. That's very cool.
My point is that it's all open at once. I wish there was some more gate keeping. You have to go here to do this.
Yeah. I will say, Bloodstained, the castle is freaking massive.
Nice.
It's huge. I mean, it took me about probably 25 hours to beat it. And,
Okay.
there were a couple times where I wasn't sure where to go next, so I did have to consult the online
That's fine.
space to get a hint.
That's not cheating anymore.
It's not, but I mean,
It's expected.
I wish they would have telegraphed a little bit better on where I needed to go or where I was supposed to get the power-ups that I needed to.
It's hard to do that, especially with Metroidvanias, because it involves a lot of backtracking and kind of figuring things out and remembering things you saw before.
Yeah.
Like Super Metroid, I can't tell you how many times I've played through that game probably 5 times in my life.
Yeah.
I still get caught in some parts of Super Metroid, like that part where you have to use the super missile to break the glass. Nobody told you to do that. There was no sign for it.
Yeah, there's some weird spots in there.
It's ridiculous. Come on, people.
I have no problem admitting I will look up strategies for any game I'm playing.
Yeah, I've learned to swallow my pride.
Yeah,
a
I mean, there's
lot lately.
I'll be hard-headed on a few things, but
Or I will straight up go down to fucking easy mode if I'm like stuck for like
There's
5
no
minutes.
shame
I'm like,
in that.
"Fuck
There's no
this."
shame in that.
Yeah, highly recommended. Do the Bloodstained. I played it on Xbox One and it's beautiful, beautiful, and it plays like
Does
a
it get
dream.
to 60 frames about?
It is 60 frames on everything but the Switch.
Yes, and yeah.
don't get the Switch version of games.
No. Oh, come on now. I just got Dragon Ball Fighters.
Ooh, all right.
Like last night, I bought it for $17. It's on sale right now. I would actually highly recommend it.
On the Switch?
Yeah.
Wow,
It's,
that's pretty graphically intensive. It's a
Yeah,
fighting game,
but
right?
it still looks good, and I think it's running above 30 frames. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
It's definitely not as
You better
much
not
as
fucking
your...
lie.
No.
Nobody lies on the Dogcast. Nobody.
I mean, don't fact check me. I don't want to see any comments on this. It's fine. I don't have Facebook anyway, so I'm good. But
safe,
no,
then.
it runs really well. It's super fun. Yeah, we'll have to play it sometime. I can show it off to you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
for
Dragon
sure.
Ball. And you also got Mario Maker, you said recently too?
Mario Maker 2, I got it just yesterday. I've been waiting a while. I've been
How
very
many levels
poor.
have you made?
I have made 0.
Yeah,
I have
play
been
story mode first.
Story mode. The story mode is intense. The one thing I'll say about Mario Maker 2 that kind of separates it from other Mario games, even the first Mario Maker, which I bought on the Wii U so many years ago. I sold it when I sold my Wii U because I knew they were going to make this eventually.
Sell out.
Yeah.
Sell out.
Well, one thing I can say is that, you know, like the Ghost House levels in Super Mario World and Super Mario Brothers 3, like it's more puzzle based. I'll be honest with you, most levels are not about platforming anymore. They're mostly about solving a puzzle within the platforming. So they really want people to focus on like keys and how power-ups affect the world around you. Whereas in a game they would release themselves, they'll never make it too hard because they don't want people who buy a Mario game to be upset.
Right.
Anyone can beat a Mario game, but not everyone can beat Mario Maker 2 levels. And I think that's the separation. In the easy levels, which is annoying, sometimes it obviously was made by like a 4-year-old. You'll go down a pipe, you'll come up the other side, and then it'll be like one coin block thing, and you'll hit it, and then it'll give you 1 life, and then you go down a pipe, and suddenly you're at the flag. It's like, and this was obviously made by a child, and it's fine, but they don't have any like differentiation.
It was actually me, Dylan.
You did an awful job.
Come on, man.
But yeah, I
I'm
love
learning.
it. I love the game. The story mode is good. They've got a lot of strange challenges, a lot of obscure, like they in the story mode they try to teach you right away what these power-ups do and the obscure ways in which you can use them, like the way the cape moves in Mario World. Like it teaches you that by forcing you through these levels. It's very nice.
That's awesome.
Which that used to be just like insider info for the longest time, and now they're making it accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then I got Fire Emblem 3 Houses on the same day.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm only so far into it, and these things take a while to ramp up.
I've heard a
If
lot
I'm
of
on again,
positive things.
I'll give a better rundown of it. But it looks fabulous. It's very good.
A lot of Persona vibes.
Extremely, in ways that I couldn't really. Like I kept saying to myself, this feels similar. Oh yeah, there's a calendar, and you have to get things done by the end of the month. All right, cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your time. Yeah.
And I'm a huge Persona 4 fan. I liked 5, but 4 is my game.
Is it?
Specifically Golden on the Vita. Fantastic.
Gotcha. Yeah, 5 was the only one that I've played thus far, and even though it's the longest game ever made by human beings, I really enjoyed it.
The average is like 130 hours to beat it.
It's crazy.
I have got to play it.
You have to.
But you do. Yeah.
I also have never played a PlayStation Vita. I don't know if I've even held one before.
I haven't either.
I sold my Vita, but I kept the game because I loved it so much. I have a game I can't play anymore.
There you go.
It's going to be worth money because those are actually, they don't reprint those and they're very hard to find.
Sure.
So I said automatically, like, this is an obscure JRPG. Or it was at the time. Now Persona's kind of in. So
It's very hot right now.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was unemployed for about a week.
Yeah.
I had one day of Mario Maker 2, which was great.
Oh, yeah?
And then-
what did you think?
I mean, I really liked it. I go in there to like core spot, which is after story mode, and then I just search by like speed run, which there'll be like a 30-second level where you have to do everything perfect in order to hit the goal, and those are super fun. And otherwise, I'll find like a creator, and they'll make this is like World 1-1 something Cloud Kingdom. And then you just go into that user, and they'll have an entire game's worth of levels made. Like
I've
7
heard of
worlds.
that. I haven't
that's
done
cool.
that yet.
And that's cool. You'll find some creator you really vibe with.
It's like a playlist of levels.
And I've been watching.
Well, they create their own game. Like, they'll literally like list out levels in a theoretical game
with
they could have
themes.
made.
Oh, okay. That's
And
awesome.
it's great. It's super cool. I've been watching a lot of Grand Pooh Bear's videos of him beating the ultra difficult levels, which are mind-boggling. So I played that for a day, and then I jumped into Middle Earth: Shadow of War, game I bought on sale maybe a year ago, and it was time.
It was time.
I was very turned off by the fact that they made Shelob into a lady.
A lady, yeah.
And then I was thinking about it.
yeah, I heard
I was
about
thinking
that.
about it. It's like there's also like immortal elves and Maiar and Dryar and Shpuzaz and whatever.
Yeah.
Bleeblorps,
Bleep.
my favorite.
I hate the
Yeah,
Bleeblorps.
it was a
Fucking
really good
Bleeblorps.
game. The Nemesis system, it didn't seem too overhauled compared to the original one.
I
was
don't
ex-
imagine.
it's-
It's
I-
Ubisoft, right?
WB.
No, yeah,
WB.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Arkham team,
Pretty.
or it's
pretty
the Arkham
much.
people. They're using those assets, I imagine.
Monolith, I think, is the
Monolith. Yeah.
did that one.
it was great. Super great game, and then I had the DLCs as well. There's one.
Ranger, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's you.
My favorite orc was Douche.
Oh yeah, and then everybody starts yelling, douche. People are like, what?
There's some really cool orcs in there. I like what they did with the system, and it was a fun game overall. And then the expansions. There's one you play as this elf lady, the Blade of Galadriel, and that one was okay.
Voldemort.
They really had some cool orcs in that game. They ramped up the character design for some specific orcs. But then there's one that I thought would be stupid, where you just play as a regular human dude in this like desert wasteland, where
Yeah.
if you die once, you die permanently, and you have to start over for the whole expansion. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Permadeath.
permadeath.
Wow, okay.
And you have to
Roguelike.
conquer this whole land and all the forts. But it was great. And since he doesn't have any extra powers, it turned into kind of an Arkham thing, because he gets like this little grappling hook thing that he shoots around, and then he has like a glider. So I was like,
Oh,
it's Batman.
Yeah.
It's Batman.
It's like little Zelda umbrella floating thing.
Might as well reuse
Mary
your engine
Poppins.
properly.
There should be a
Wait,
Mary
what?
Poppins mod.
Might as well reuse your engine properly.
Right.
I imagine it runs on the Arkham Knight.
It looks great.
The combat is so similar to the Batman games. It is insane. But anything else?
Assassin's Creed Rogue, which we will get to, and then I've also been replaying some Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because I've never beaten it, so I just jumped right into my save, so I skipped all the boring opening stuff, which is great. And this morning I played 4 hours of Assassin's Creed Liberation. I recently beat Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry.
Nice.
And today I also dabbled in Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, China, and India.
Oh, I'm sorry. We can
Wow,
talk about those.
okay.
Yeah.
I never even touched those.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed,
Yes, if you didn't notice, we have a theme going on tonight.
there's a lot of them.
There, and this is just like 1/16 of the entire series. So.
Might as well.
Tonight we're going to discuss Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And see how far we get.
Series by Ubisoft Entertainment. It was originally going to be a sequel to Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. That's what they were developing, but then they realized it was just its own IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Had to be.
I think the original concept was you're going to have the prince as like a little kid and the assassin was his bodyguard. And they're like, this is dumb.
It's interesting.
And then someone smoked some weed and like watch a conspiracy theory video. They're like, hold on.
Right.
Give me the mouse for a second. I'm going
They
to
were
figure this
also
out.
like, aren't genetics weird?
But dude, what if there's genetic memory?
I mean, there is technically genetic memory.
Yeah, but I can't see what my great-great-grandpappy ate for breakfast by studying my DNA.
And then he masturbated.
Why did you send me back to that part of the memory specifically? 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like me, and he's masturbating. That's gross.
The dark side of the animus.
They glaze over that shit.
Yeah.
And what happens if you jump back into your female ancestor? These are questions that I had when I was doing my research that they don't really talk about.
It's fun.
So, Assassins and Templars, they're the two main groups. It takes place in the modern day as kind of the main story. Through the DNA of people descended from either Assassins or Templars, they're able to experience their past lives. And that what they're all looking for is things from the original creators, relics from them, the pieces of Eden, the apples of Eden,
Yeah,
the
so
staffs
what?
of Eden, the
There's
shroud
some
of
fucking
Eden.
magical bullshit.
Not magical.
Okay,
highly scientific.
Mystical, highly scientific bullshit people.
Ancient aliens. Ancient aliens.
Who created humans.
They're ancient aliens,
right?
yeah.
And then they left shiny magical objects around.
They helped with our evolution.
Okay.
They didn't create us, though.
Did they not?
No, they did not.
They use us as a workforce. What are they named? The Isu? The Isa?
The Isu.
Yeah.
The Isu.
The first civilization.
Yeah. Then there was... Okay, so there's the ancient civilization, and we were their workforce. But...
Okay.
Adam and Eve were the first assassins. Or the first people to rebel.
Yeah.
And they grabbed an apple of Eden.
They did.
Yeah. But they're interbred. So anyone who's got the eagle vision, which in the games, that's how you can perceive your surroundings and know what's going on.
Yep.
The eagle vision is a result of
Bad people glow red.
Yeah. Special people glow gold if they're unique to your story.
Some special people.
Yeah.
It's video game mechanics that they work into this story.
Yeah. At least it's worked in a fashion.
It's good though. I think it works. Eagle vision itself is it's your Batman detective vision. It's
absolutely.
It's basically he puts on a blacklight lens and he sees where the Joker came or something.
Yeah.
And that's because
my favorite chapter.
The Isu interbred with the humans. But then there was a great war. And I don't know where it is in my notes. I have a lot of notes. But there was a great war between us, the humans and them.
Yeah.
And then a solar flare happened. And it almost wiped everybody out.
It also wiped out most of their technology, too.
I'm so glad you know what we're talking about here, too.
Yeah.
You know your stuff.
Yeah. Because, my eyes have glazed over since Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
Of, trying to understand.
There's not one MacGuffin in the series. There is 10 apples of Eden.
And they make up more all the time.
There's so many things. And also, you're just having a fist fight with the Pope.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Finally.
All I want to do is punch the Pope. I grew
Speaking
up
of,
Catholic.
We have the game for you, man.
Yep. All right, our next beer here is from Culmination Brewing, another brewery out in Portland. That was amazing.
I love these
house.
patterns.
Yeah. Some fun colors, geometric.
Yeah,
this is a
This time
tomorrow stout, coffee, almond, and chocolate.
Okay.
Nice big beer.
It smells really rich.
It's good. It's not, but the body isn't crazy thick. I was ready to
It's pretty light bodied.
Yep.
It reminds me of, in a very good way, a watered down chocolate milk. That also, actually, I kind of like that though. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Kind of roasty.
I will drink this and like it and enjoy it so much.
So, yeah, and then there's...
Did they have beer? The first civilization?
I imagine.
They probably, I don't know.
They
haven't touched
grew
on
crops and grain. Of course they had beer.
I know in Assassin's Creed...
It's one of the first inventions we had.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's why civilization happened, because people...
Pretty much, yeah.
How do you get people to work? You give them beer.
Yeah.
Why do you think I go to work?
Right.
Yeah.
I just need beer.
Same. Well, that's the one thing I look forward to when I go home. And my cats. And third place, maybe my girlfriend.
What's up, Allison?
Distant third.
Oh, man.
Some other core concepts, free running. What got me into the game initially...
Free clinging on to just random objects, you mean?
Just sometimes when it works, and sometimes randomly jumping off in the wrong direction.
And then falling to your death.
Yeah. There's a haystack. I was jumping into the haystack.
Desynchronized.
And you jump off a big bend just onto the street.
Well, I think the difficulty, especially in the first game, is that they had a completely new engine and this parkour mechanic. When you have something so dynamic and you want to show, because when the first one came out, it was just so revolutionary. Like you saw it and you're like, people can like move like this in a video game.
That was the first.
It was uncomplicated, but the direction you hold the controller or the direction you push the analog when you're running, like it truly affects everything.
It's so. When it works, it's so smooth too. I remember the first time watching it. It's like, how does he know where to grab?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
contextual.
It's quite fluid, and my memories of the first game are still really good. But I haven't replayed it because I've heard if you replay it, you can feel the age.
Oh sure.
These games do not age well. That is one thing I'll say right off the bat.
Especially going from the new style of games.
Origins and Odyssey.
Going back to the old ones. We can talk about that when we get there. But yeah.
I haven't played those yet, and
you need to.
Black Flag is just stunningly gorgeous. I think that game is so great.
That's spoiler alert, my favorite one.
I might agree. I think that might be my favorite one thus far.
Yeah. So,
but I do remember. Okay, so Assassin's Creed. I remember it being beautiful. Seeing the animation of the guy, of Altair, the protagonist, it blew my mind. But I do also remember the game being very repetitive. It did seem like it was a proof of concept of, okay, we have this cool animation system, and this graphic engine.
The Anvil
Let's
engine
build a game.
Before that, it was called the Scimitar engine because they were trying to make it like a Prince of Persia sequel.
Gotcha. And that makes sense.
This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah. What was it called before that?
It wasn't called anything that was new.
Interesting.
It's almost as if you could check facts.
Right. So yeah, those are my main memories of the first game.
I guess
I really liked it, but I didn't love it by the time I was done with it. But I did think it was interesting.
No.
I did like the story. The concept was really cool.
By the time, like,
and different.
At some point, it starts feeling like a chore, and everything kind of looks the same. That final battle, though, with your mentor, that was cool. Where he has the Apple of Eden.
A lot of lightning. I would just remember.
Yeah, and a lot of slowing down time and stuff like that. If I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah. So another core concept of the games is, well, you're traveling back to one of your ancestors, but what they've been striving for is a historical accuracy for a time and a place. So the first game is the Third Crusade in the Holy Land, like 1191, and you play as Altair ibn la Ahad. But I think one thing that really struck me with that first game is it's immersive. It's a game where I don't need to be playing any of like the core gameplay experience. I could just be walking around and climbing. If that was the whole game, I would still be able to find a lot of enjoyment there. Yes. And it's something that I'm happy that they did later in the series, where they did just like make a mode for that, because they strive for historical accuracy for city layouts. They'll like fudge distances for some things.
They have to. You can't like the amount of manpower it would take to do something like that is just astronomical. You just physically can't. So like when you hear someone complaining in like Fallout 4 that Boston is like, whoa, Lexington isn't this close to Concord, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just have
video
fun.
games, man. Yeah.
No, you're right though. Absolutely.
And the reason that Abstergo, which is the Templars' modern company, the reason that they're kidnapping our main character for the first three games, Desmond Miles, who is a descendant of Altair and Ezio Auditore.
Excuse me. First 5 games.
Okay, yeah. For the Ezio trilogy, they are separate games. They realized that if they just kept having numbered games come out twice a year, it would look silly. So they got away from that pretty quick.
Yeah, they did.
I just love that. Also, the 5th game or the 6th game is Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah.
They're like, we got to just stop numbering these things, guys.
At some point, they did decide to do that, and I thank them for it. Like, they wanted to do 4 because they kind of wanted to say, like, okay, now this is a new thing. Please believe us, it's a new thing. People didn't like 3 all that much. I liked 3 because I'm a Revolutionary War buff a little bit. So, to me, I was just like, I was in hog heaven.
That's probably my favorite time period out of all the games so far.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I liked the Golden Age of Piracy in 4. That's still going to be my favorite. Meeting like Edward Teach, Blackbeard, and like James Hornigold, stuff like that. That was very cool. But generally, what does everyone think of the first game in its totality? Like, it came out of nowhere, really. A lot of people compared it to Uncharted at the time because it came out the same year.
2007 was like one of the golden years for gaming.
Mass Effect.
Hits.
Oh my God.
Halo 3 was that year.
Yep.
Rock Band.
There
was a lot of really big franchises that started right then.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed is one of them.
Yep.
I remember the game very fondly, and it's one of those things where I don't think Altair really had much of a character, but that kind of, looking back, he becomes immortalized as just like the quiet badass type. Assassin's Creed 1, I remember being very bored, though, with the parts when you go out of the Animus into the present day. They didn't do anything with it there. It was boring
just Desmond
filler.
walking around.
Yeah, walking around.
They've gotten better with that in later games.
Yeah.
But, Desmond is a boring guy. And then he gets. Turns out Lucy is
actually
an assassin, also a Templar.
Wow!
Also
double agent.
She's a Templar assassin. Templar.
I can't believe it either.
But the end of the game is him like with a bleeding effect where he's starting to have his eagle vision in the real world.
He gets eagle vision, and then there's shit all over the wall.
It's Ratman
and
from
then
Portal.
Then you escape.
Yeah.
And then you get in a van or something. And
no, that's true though. It's a lot of people. So in 4, they really tried to tone down its outside story.
Oh yeah.
They thought that people
and
truly
subsequent games.
I mean, and what they're going back into it now because I think they realize that the people who started off with this truly did like that sci-fi concept.
Yeah.
They just make it a little more subtle rather than having you play out this story with shit you've already done, but in like the modern context. They
it's
give
been
you
pretty marginalized.
Yes,
though.
and it should be. I don't need to see more of
name,
Desmond,
yes.
but they reference his corpse all the time in the later games.
Yes.
Because they're studying it. I'm like, all right, well, beating a dead horse, literally, because he looked like a horse. He had bad face modeling.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
He had the same cut on his lip as a lot of other like ancestors, and like I don't think that would.
No,
last that
I think
much.
that's just a design
SEO space.
choice.
So, and then we go into Assassin's Creed 2, which they liked the main character so much they made 3 games out of him with.
Yes, and it's deserved.
Ezio he's a cool guy. He's swashbuckling. He's a ladies' man.
Yeah.
He's
That's what you
also
wanted.
Kind of a drunk, hell bent on revenge, and then through that and the 2 other games he matures, and you go on a journey with this guy.
Yeah.
And he has an uncle named Mario.
Mario.
It's me, Mario.
He actually says
Uncle Mario.
I chuckled when that happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Italy during the Renaissance, they refined a lot of features. I don't think that they added too much. The notoriety system was something that they added.
Yeah, they kind of I always get really angry, I think, when they add kind of morality systems into things. And notoriety is that. I remember that one being like, if you push someone in the street, your notoriety would go in a different direction.
That guy pushed me. Arrest him.
When really you were
right.
just trying to move around them. It's the same thing with like Red Dead 2. It's like, I didn't mean to fucking blow the guy's brains out at the horse store.
Right, yeah.
It's just like, it happened. I'm sorry, but those buttons, they do the same thing for other things.
Yeah.
It's like, what else am I supposed to do about that?
How many
shit?
people have I accidentally assassinated?
Oh my God. I assassinated a monk in the street. I'm like, he didn't do anything. I'm sorry.
And it's the Assassin's Creed series. They walk a fine line where they're just good enough to where I'm still like, I'm gonna play them and still enjoy them. But there's
the new ones are actually gonna blow your mind. And I will say this as someone I played through all of Origins. Odyssey wasn't working on my computer properly. Something to do with the processor I have. But Origins is actually gonna like completely shift your views. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's the formula is there, but it's reinvented and it works a whole lot.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
It's open world now.
It's like Syndicate. I was like, no. Like I looked at it and I said, no, I'm not doing that.
I like Syndicate's time frame, and I like Jacob and Evie Fry.
They were good characters. Yeah.
Right.
But by that time, I felt like the whole the whole concept was getting a bit stale. They
took a year off after
formula.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I did the math here while I was getting this ready. It's like they had a game a year, sometimes 2 games a year.
Yep.
Nonstop until they took a 2-year break for Origins.
Well, the main series, the only one that had 2 a year was, I think, Rogue and Unity. That was the same year. One was a last gen.
Yep.
And then the other one was a current gen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was all like spin-offs and stuff like that, as far as I remember.
They had Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation, which was a PS Vita.
PS Vita,
release.
correct? Yeah. It didn't run well on the PS Vita.
It doesn't run well now.
Yeah.
I had that game crash 3 times today while I was playing it.
I liked the location.
There's a
New
lot.
Orleans,
There's a lot
in
there.
that time. And I liked the character. Like, actually, she had really good character development.
I found her very boring so far. The first
There's
4 hours
you learn some more stuff.
I have not played that yet. I got the remastered version from the Odyssey download, but I'll probably take it for a spin.
You're gonna have to. Yeah. I mean, on the Vita too, like it's a bit too small to handle a lot of these games anyway.
Yeah.
The precision of those analog sticks are not appropriate for something like that. It's the same reason that Uncharted spin-off Golden Abyss didn't do so well either. It's just it's fun to think about the fact that you could have a console level game in the palm of your hands, but I don't think it actually started working until the Switch. I'll be honest, because I played Doom on the Switch and that handles just as good as any other.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's good.
Assassin's Creed 2 also started introducing like historical figures.
You've got your Da Vinci's.
When you're hanging out with Da Vinci and he's like making some new dope
Yes.
like, flying machines for you and stuff like that.
That's a cool part where he builds bonfires and to like
Completely
lift up your,
realistic.
Yes, yeah, totally. Because that's how it works. I mean, don't you know, man?
And Machiavelli, he's an assassin who helps you work with stuff. This is when you get to have a fist fight with the Pope too, which is pretty great.
Yep.
Rodrigo Borgia.
Yeah.
That's right, the Borgia. I'll tell you, I went to Italy last year, and
Did you fight the Pope?
no, but I went to Florence. You know,
I hear he likes gays now, so you don't have to punch him too hard.
so went to Florence, and the whole time I think my girlfriend just got fucking really sick of me pointing at all like the landmarks.
I climbed
I
that.
climbed that. I know it's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's a bird
I
feather
understand
up there,
completely.
You know what I mean? So
I went to Tulum, Mexico. I went to Tulum, Mexico in 2015, and I was super high on mushrooms. And and I remember because because it's a port city. It's also one of the places you visit in there where they teach you how to be an assassin as Edward Kenway. And I went there. I went there and I looked at it and I'm like, this does not look like fucking this. Like at all. Like I was looking around and I was looking for something that would like draw me in, and they said, "Oh, this is Tulum," and I'm like, "No, it's not. It's like." I didn't hide in grass over there. In fact, it's mostly just a cliff's edge. They had a weird like pulley system, like ancient elevators. Very cool, very cool. But it definitely was not practicing how to be an assassin.
right.
So Ezio got 3 whole games.
Brotherhood and Revelation. Right?
Yeah, it mostly takes place in Rome and Italy, like the first 2.
Yes.
The third one, he does get to go to Constantinople, and then there's like a convergence
Oh,
of
you mean
him.
Istanbul?
Yes, a convergence. you son of a bitch. There's the Altier's story converges, and you even play as him a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is when they really start doubling down on the weird god stuff, because the first game it didn't really get into that too much.
Yeah.
People are complaining that there's like minotaurs in the newest game. Well, they've had some pretty weird stuff pretty early on in the series.
Well, a lot of that stuff is also it mixes both like dream sequences, but also the fact that if we were genetically manipulated by this ancient race, then why not just have that shit flying around and shit?
Yeah,
the harpies are there. It's like if you're on a boat and you're fighting harpies, like that makes everything so much cooler.
Absolutely. Yep. I definitely appreciated that, like with like the 2 newer games where towards the end of the
I
games,
hear the new expansion, Fate of Atlantis, is off the chain.
I
weird.
just started playing that.
Okay.
And like we were talking about like the marginalization of the present day things. I'm actually I just started it, so I'm like an hour in. I can't wait to play more because this is like the first time in a long time where it's actually marrying a lot of like the present day things. So you're kind of like ping ponging back and forth.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And but I haven't got to Atlantis yet. But yeah, I heard the same thing. I'm like, it's just fucking bad shit in the best way possible. So
I say go hog wild. It's if you can fit it into the fiction, it's not like anything else that they've put in this series isn't just as weird.
But and the series was getting stale. It was getting very stale.
It was.
Yes.
Yep.
And mixing up the whole gameplay mechanics. And from what I've seen, there's a lot of RPG elements that they worked in.
A ton.
Odyssey is straight up the fucking Witcher.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Straight
more
up.
with more precise combat. The Witcher I love.
Oh yes. It's an arcadey Witcher, like that actually feels good to the combat. Yeah.
You point the stick in one direction and he'll do it, but Geralt, he'll just swing his sword everywhere.
He does whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Roach.
Except for Roach.
You, Roach. Yeah.
Oh, come on, you hate Roach?
Oh, I love Roach.
Oh,
I love all
Roach.
80 Roaches that I had during the run of that game. Anyways, this is Assassin's Creed, not Witcher. How did this happen? Brad, get us on track, buddy.
Yeah,
You're the engineer of this train.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you could like dual wield weapons. They didn't really. It's the same game pretty much. They just included more story.
It's more focused though because they give you one city and all you have to do is deal with this city
and build your army up.
Send your assassins out, your team of assassins, have them do missions. I would say I think Brotherhood might be the pinnacle of the old style.
I think you might be right.
Assassin's Creed.
What do you consider the old
maybe
style?
Black Flag. Anything before Origins.
I consider everything up to 3 its own era.
That's its own era. That is, I
but
agree.
Brotherhood,
Oh, really? Okay.
Brotherhood, I consider the best of those groupings.
Sure.
I really liked Revelations though too.
I hate the tower defense.
Tower defense. Well, that was one gameplay mechanic in the game.
I hated it.
The story was really good in Revelations.
Yes, it was. It was, especially him meeting his wife. and
Old
whatever.
Ezio traveling.
Did you watch Embers? It's a movie. It's like a 20-minute movie.
There's so much to these stupid things.
It's basically it's
like-
basically like the last 2 days of his life.
I've saw some of it on some
good.
YouTube stuff. Yeah,
It's good. It's very good.
The Chinese assassin Xiao Yun comes from Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and she's given the precursor box. I think it's the precursor box. Don't say yes like you know what we're talking
Yes,
about.
of course.
Of course, yes.
Yes, the precursor box. Well, I have one. You have one?
So he hides the apple of Eden. The modern day people find it. Desmond grabs the apple, and then he has a vision from, I think it's Juno.
Yeah.
And he's forced to kill Lucy, but it's because she's a Templar triple agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Gosh darn it, Lucy. R.I.P.
and then he's in a coma, and his dad says, just hook him up to the Animus. That'll fix it. And the worst DLC of the whole series is in Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations. It's called Subject 16, and it's first person. And it's like stupid platforming with 0 level design, 0 like art design. It looks so bad.
They pumped Revelations out fast.
They did.
You can actually see a lot of the same building framework from Brotherhood.
Oh, really?
A ton.
I skipped Revelations altogether.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, if you like, basically the reviewers were saying, if you like this series, yeah, I guess.
It kind of came out like a wet fart.
Yeah, it was,
saw the
because that was
first one,
annualized.
you know?
It was annualized
Yeah,
at that point,
it
though.
was
That
every
was
year.
2011. 2011 was Revelations.
Yep.
And then they released the third one after that, and I thought it was, I was excited.
I was
excited
super
for
pumped.
3.
Super pumped in the American Revolution. Love the idea of playing as a Native American.
I have a statue of Connor Kenway from the special edition, though. It looks fucking good because it's based off of the Alex Ross painting that he did for it.
Yeah.
And it's like
Aren't there
back
like 2
before.
flags behind him or something? Or?
There's a flag, and then he's got one claw out, and he's got the hammer, but or the axe, but it has
hatchet?
the hatchet, but it has it's the assassin symbol. But this was before they started making every statue you get with these special editions like crap. Like this one was actually like something you'd find in a comic book shop.
Yeah,
that's awesome. It looked really good. I still have it up at my house. I'm like, I remember
seeing pictures of it, and I might have pulled the trigger on that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not. But so it's like Assassin's Creed 3. This was a turning point, I think.
It was divisive.
Very divisive, but it had so much heat going for it before it actually came out. I remember it won a bunch of E3 awards. I remember seeing cover stories in Game Informer.
Yes.
Like you, I loved the time period, so I was just ready,
Oh, yeah.
to take my money. And then when it came out, I remember reading some of the reviews, and I think the reviews were kind of positive, but it didn't take long before there was like a backlash.
Fans mostly. Yeah.
Fans, yes.
They really had to adapt what the gameplay was in this different time period too. Because my first thought was, what am I going to climb? There's no big buildings, and the way that they designed navigating through the trees on the frontier, I thought that was all really well done.
Yeah.
The bow and arrow was a lot of fun to use, and then the naval combat, I don't think it works in 3. I don't like it in 3.
It was a test bed.
I mean, the thought of a Native American assassin piloting random ships.
The Aquila.
Yes.
The Aquila.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems...
Dressed in your Paul Revere hats, you didn't have to...
It's a little bit weird. Why would he even want to get on a ship?
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking to that, this is like the game where they started the parade of all the historical figures, and then Connor was
Benjamin
Franklin. Connor was like the pivotal force for every major historical thing that happened.
Everybody
was, but they
Paul Revere's ride. He's like, telling him which way to go. You're like, what the
fuck? No, it's true though. I think especially like the fact that the villain was Charles Lee. You know what's funny? Like, actually, by all accounts, Charles Lee was kind of cool and like not a bad person at all.
Right, yeah.
But they really transformed him into like this beast of an asshole.
And they made him look like Robert Goulet.
There's an ethical discussion to be had there too. You're like,
well,
you're taking real figures and you're modifying them to be villains.
Yeah, towards the end, Connor or Rahunagedon.
Yep.
Yes, got it. Yes, he
that was very. I don't know if it was right, but it sounded good. He finds out that Washington is also the person who is complicit in burning down his village too, and he's like, oh, actually, you know what? Fuck all of this. To be fair, and I think that was kind of the message that you had to get to for Desmond's story as well, because they tried to mirror those two stories as much as they could. Like it's basically going against your power structure and figuring out that maybe there aren't just two sides to everything, and that which they're still like Assassins versus Templars, so I guess they didn't really learn their lesson. They never will.
Yeah.
That's what the end.
Not as long as these games keep making money.
The end of Odyssey, they talk about that. I haven't played it, but I've looked into it.
Yeah, it's very true.
I will say, okay, so Assassin's Creed 3 also is in the DLC for Odyssey, the remastered version. And I was very excited to play this.
Yes.
Okay.
So I went back to it because I really did like Assassin's Creed 3. Like, I don't get what people. Yeah, so the beginning, people are. Kind of.
It goes way too long.
So I think that was its Achilles heel.
They should have stopped with after the Hatham scene. They shouldn't have had any young Connor.
No, I hated
young
that.
Connor was the bad stuff.
But I went back to play this because I do remember the beginning being kind of long. Like,
it was very long. It was a 4-hour tutorial.
But I didn't realize
stuff you already knew.
Dude, I went back to play this game a few days ago. And I'm still not at the point where I'm actually full-grown Connor. Like, not only do you go back, you start as Hatham. Before you even play young Connor, you go to the modern day, and you're playing as fucking Desmond for like.
And then you jump on weird, obtuse, rectangular platforms.
Terrible sequences.
Yes, that's horrible. Where do I go next? And then you're young Connor, and it's like, okay, my memory had been kind of fogged over. I think
it's necessary though. They really wanted this one to be like the Return of the Jedi for this thing. They really wanted you to like Desmond so hard.
Right.
And I liked Desmond. I will say I did.
As a concept.
I think he's a good, as a concept, but even this is back in the day where protagonists didn't have real personalities. They were all blank slates. So it's really hard to judge it in that context.
All right, we have another beer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You tell me about this one, Tom.
Oh, okay.
This is your beer.
Yeah, so this is a barista chocolate quad. All right, it is a Belgian ale. I thought this would be fitting. We're heading to the Dogcast is heading to Belgium next week, so
Gonna do some interviews out there.
we'll see what happens.
Do you know any video game developers in Belgium?
We're stopping in London first, so and then
Oh,
Belgium
dude,
and
go
then
to some of the
Amsterdam.
famous locations from Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Kidding
All
me?
of them.
Of course.
Oh, I mean, like Big Ben.
Buckingham
Westminster
Palace.
Abbey. Yep.
Jack the Ripper's
Honestly, I want an
mom's grave.
Assassin's Creed that takes place in Milwaukee
I'll
because
dance
our
with
clock
Queen
tower
Victoria.
is bigger.
It mid
true.
like mid 1800s Milwaukee, like the beer scene was just getting
I
started.
could fucking handle that.
I could fuck with that.
I could really do something with that, and a little bit in like the wilderness. That'd
Right.
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if I go there and I see a train that's just running around in circles around the city,
jump on it. Just start climbing stuff when you're there, Tom.
I'll know
Please
that's the
start
secret
climbing
assassin's
stuff.
hideout, and I'll let you know what it's like inside. So
The next time you're in like forecasts, like
I've definitely, after playing these games for a while, I'll go outside and just like climb a tree.
you feel like it. Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, there's bricks. I could climb that. It's like, no, actually, I'm just a human.
you're just the Brad.
I'm not a hybrid sage
Listen,
with
playing
a triple helix.
playing Fire Emblem, I'll be sweeping my like kitchen or something from like cat litter, and then something else starts swinging it a little. I'm like, oh, I could be a lancer.
I'm sorry. we didn't hear what this beer is, I don't think.
I just gave a brief overview. Yeah, it is a chocolate quad.
I don't know what a quad is.
Ale. It's a style of Belgian beer. You get
It's really good.
dual, triples, and quads.
Okay.
It's just heavier.
It means 4.
It means 4. But this is a chocolate one, and it tastes chocolatey.
Thanks, Brad. Well, quad means 4.
So Connor's a Native
Quad City
American.
PJs.
He's a Native American. His dad is Hatham Kenway, who is a Templar, and his tribe is
He
guarding.
is also he's an assassin turned Templar.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
a big dick.
That family makes up the next like trilogy of games, pretty much. And,
Well, yeah,
and Rogue
Edward
is all around it too.
Yep.
But Connor's.
They really do call that a trilogy, don't they?
I don't know what they call
Its
it.
own little,
They call it convoluted.
They call it like the Kenway trilogy in a lot of ways.
The saga.
Yeah.
But Connor's tribe, they guard a forerunner site or whatever, a precursor site that's guarding something, and that's why everyone's trying to get to America to figure it out. He's trained as an assassin, yada yada yada. The frontier's cool. The hunting is cool. That's something that they really added in there.
Yep.
And it's something that I never did in the game because back then I just wanted to do Assassin's Creed stuff. To me, that wasn't naval combat or hunting yet. It took a while for me to get used to that, but
Right.
At the end of the game, of course, the Desmond, they figure out how to open something, and he grabs an apple, and then he gets a vision from Juno, who is a bad god, who says Earth is going to be killed by solar flares, and you have 2 options. You can die and free her to rule the world in some shit, or
Interesting.
if he doesn't, some humans would survive the solar flare and he'd become a religious icon. Stupid, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And he chooses to
Sacrifice himself.
because he doesn't want the other option.
And they just fucking 86'd him right the fuck out.
They
the story.
86
Boom,
the
you're
fuck
gone.
out of him.
Desmond is
And
86. We're gonna be grabbing his corpse though for a while.
Right, we'll talk about him, but no more of this modern day stuff for a
His
while.
dad
okay?
still runs the assassins though. His dad is kind of a dick. There was
Yeah,
a really weird
big time.
There's a really weird DLC for it
Dr.
too,
Miles.
and this is when they started flirting with doing like alternate histories and weird stuff.
Yes, and I want to play it.
It sounds cool. I haven't played it.
The tyranny of King Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's build
They
a
build like
pyramid.
oh my god, it's and honestly a lot of the powers too, they're pretty cool, and a lot of this they definitely used in Origins and Odyssey. Odyssey especially. Wow. They use a ton of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting to note, the Apple of Eden that is in that game was brought to America by the Freemasons. Give me 1 second here.
Go ahead.
Recovered by George Washington.
Take your time.
FDR had it, teamed up with Churchill and Stalin in the fabrication of World War II. World War II was started by the Templars to form a new world government and international monetary system. Churchill, Stalin, FDR, and Hitler were all Templar puppets. Hitler was supposed to escape with the double dying instead of him, but the assassins found and murdered him. This is canon, and this is the ultimate shit on all of the terrible things that World War II was.
It was just people in a slap fight. Essentially,
it was a novelization. Like, I understand that, you know, the New World government and monetary system, a lot of things changed. Whatever. Don't make it about Assassin's Creed. There's a lot of things that happened in that war.
I know.
Yeah, that's the same Apple of Eden, though, that caused World War II, so that's fun.
Yeah, I think Ubisoft needs to check their facts.
Oh, they don't care, man.
Hey, they're French Canadian, eh?
Historical accuracy, right?
They'll make I mean, look, they've already established this is an alternate history. I say go buck wild.
Go buck wild.
Who gives a shit? I'm honestly into it. Like, it's.
Oh yeah.
It's like if you're into that crap, hell yeah, just run with it. It's like have you ever tried to read a steampunk novel? Gah. Wow. It's like yeah, cool. Now they have so they got like the steam engine 20 years before it should have happened.
Sure.
Okay. Cool.
Changed everything.
Changed everything. Like the Thief games or something like that. That's all steampunk technically.
Yeah, that was Thief games were like my first foray into what steampunk was, and I
played the first one recently. Oh boy.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh boy.
You mean like 1998, the first one?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, it looks all right. They kind of up.
It looks like a bad quilt.
They up the res, but it's fine. But it's cool. They have like little knobs and bells and whistles on the side of these old ass buildings, and I'm like, what do these even fucking do for them? Everything else, they're just using swords and crossbows.
Damn right.
Invent a fucking gun.
You know, Altair actually invented a gun much earlier than anyone else, because he was using
that fits into the lore.
Because he was like looking into the future or something with his piece of Eden.
Sure.
Yeah, and he used that to like snipe somebody, and everyone's like, how'd he do that? Technology, bitch.
Hey, look, there's a scene in Revelation I'm thinking of specifically too, and it's basically like a love scene between him and the woman who, because Desmond is going back in time.
Revelations.
And then he goes a little bit further, and then it's Altair meeting with the person who he ends up
She was
marrying.
a Templar.
Yeah. So
they either want to kill each other or fuck each other. At the same time, most of it.
They end up being together, which is then like leading into Unity's whole bullshit.
Yeah, there was Assassin's Creed Liberation. We already talked about it a little bit. I think it's just interesting to note that
it's really not worth playing, to be completely honest. It's so passable.
I like this. I like New Orleans, and I like the Bayou, but the gameplay doesn't really hold up. It's aged. The models don't look great. I don't think the voice acting's there at all. The characters are boring, but it's the first one that introduces the meta video game experience, where Abstergo is now an entertainment company, and there's something that's interesting that that game does do is they've modified history in the game to show the assassins as being lame and the Templars as being super cool. So there's someone who's hacked the game from the Assassin's modern time, and you'll get messages like, "Oh, this is really what happened." You can unlock the true videos of what really happened, and that's kind of a cool.
I dig
thing.
on that really hard.
Yeah, I dig on that.
That's all right.
Then Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was a big deal. It is a big deal, but it was a big deal.
That was a big deal. That was
huge.
Ubisoft's answer to all right, people just want to get straight the fuck into this game and just start assassinating, and you kill
a guy right away.
You kill a guy, you put on the robes, and amazingly, you also can do all the climbing and all the assassin moves.
Luckily, he was descended.
It's like the greatest American hero of
he's there.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's descended from the Isu. I'm jumping through air.
That was awesome.
It is the fourth game and the sixth game.
Wait a minute. What?
I liked.
It only gets more confusing.
Get
on board.
Final Fantasy 3 versus Final Fantasy 6. What?
Right.
Oh God.
That actually makes sense though. This doesn't.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I like the first-person segments in Abstergo. Actually,
I do
you
like
get
that one,
you get to explore the company and pick up other people's iPads.
You're just some low-level weirdo.
Yeah.
It's fun seeing how the other games before are you can see them talking about how they're going to market certain characters.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really fun. And Edward Kenway is it's fun being a
I
fucking
love
pirate.
Edward
He's a great.
Kenway.
He's one of the better.
The opening
It
scene
makes
is like his
sense.
lady, like, you're not working hard enough. It's like, I just gotta go be a pirate, lady.
Yeah.
And I'm so into that.
Listen here.
I'll be
he's a-
back. I'll be back in like a couple of years.
Right.
How does that ever, like, back in the day, that was a normal thing to say to somebody.
I mean, shit, and it's true too. So he was a privateer, and then he turns pirate because eventually, when the crown stops their war with Spain, it's like, oh, now you can't do it anymore. Like, even though you were doing it legally for so long, and he's like, I'm still gonna fucking do it. Like, it's just like everyone was like that, and that's the golden age of piracy. Like,
Right.
a lot of people don't even realize that it was such a short period of time.
Yep.
Blackbeard's reign is basically 2 years.
How long of a period was the Golden Age?
I think it's about 20 years. That's it.
20, yeah.
It's
Man.
about 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blackbeard, everyone talks about him all the time. That was 2 years of his life.
Gotcha.
That was 2 years of Blackbeard's life, which is insane.
But that fucking naval combat though in that game. Oh my god.
The preparing of the cannons, and then you have to. It's strategic in a way that an Assassin's Creed game never had a kind of. Like, there's a way to there are paths to sneak through something, and they give you options, but there's a generally agreed upon way in which you should do it.
There's a lined up, like, Tony
Yeah.
Hawk grind rail.
Pretty much.
Which you know you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like, oh, this room is unoccupied. Well, you're going to go in there because it's unoccupied. You're not going to immediately go to the occupied room.
Right.
Unless you're creating difficulty for yourself.
This was the first time, though, the first one in the series where I completely gave up on being a completionist. I'm into collecting things, and I'm into climbing things, but when they have the open world map of 1,000 different islands, like, I'm not doing that. I'm very much into decorating my ship with fancy sails.
You have to do that.
I'm very into that.
Get those fucking get the sea
You
shanties.
could do some cool.
I want the
Get the sea
blackest. I want
shanties.
the blackest sails.
Yes.
That I can. I want to have the death guy on the front of my ship.
Quiz time. What's the name of his ship in that game?
I know.
I know it.
You just played it. I don't remember.
The horny walrus.
It's the horny walrus.
It is. Yes.
It's the jackdaw.
The jack.
Oh, the jackdaw. I knew
very
that.
cool.
Come on.
Yeah.
I would have got that in like 5 hours.
And you
Sure.
get to hang out
In
with
5 hours.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but there's also harpooning whales.
Yeah, I've done it. It's
Oh, yeah.
fun.
Is it pretty cool?
It pulls your ship along. You can get a ton of money for
Yeah.
for the ambergris inside the whales.
Yeah. PETA was upset by this game.
Very, very much so.
And this is the official statement from Ubisoft.
Ladies and gentlemen, official statement from PETA, read by Brad Ward.
Not from PETA, from Ubisoft to
From
PETA.
Ubisoft.
I want to hear you
PETA.
do. I want to hear you like up your voice.
We
a
do
little.
not condone illegal whaling. Just as we don't condone a pirate lifestyle of poor hygiene, plundering, hijacking ships, and over the legal limit drunken debauchery.
Over the legal limit, drunken debauchery.
Yeah, we also don't think you should be a pirate. You know, it's a fucking game. PETA.
Wow, that's great.
What a bunch of spazzes.
That's just like a literary finger to
for
PETA.
fucking real.
And
Oh
I
my
haven't
God.
I haven't beaten Black Flag yet, but the fact
It's
that
hard to
the
beat.
pieces of Eden are crystal skulls makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd is very happy about this.
Yes, it probably is. I've had his vodka for the first time a couple days
Crystal
ago. By the
Skull
way.
vodka.
Nice.
The one that almost killed Larry King.
Yeah. Honestly, it's fine. I would love to meet Dan Aykroyd, and I'll drink all the vodka he wants.
He was on last podcast on the left
Yes,
recently. I
yes.
haven't listened to it yet, but
It's
I want.
good.
Yeah.
It's good. Throughout the entire thing, he plugs Crystal Head. No joke.
Really?
He'll be talking about something, and he'll be talking about aliens, and he'll say like,
And that's the reason.
and he'll be like, and then and for them it was all about purity, not unlike Crystal Head vodka.
Right.
Like seriously plugging that shit. But that's like his Asperger's syndrome. That's like his autism.
I'm into it.
Went into like
It's
the
fucking
Basmatic
cool.
character.
Yeah.
It slices it dice. But yes, great game that Assassin's Creed 4. I was going to say something else about it, but I forgot, and I apologize. And Dan Aykroyd, please
Look
come
into
on
the camera
Dogcast.
as you apologize.
I'm sorry. I thought it's not you, it's me.
It's not me and Brad's fault.
It's us.
But yeah, the naval combat. I mean, it resonated so well and was so
It's so
successful that they are now making Ubisoft is making Skull and Bones, or I believe that's what it's called.
Is that the new one?
Where it's
Yeah.
straight up the pirate game, you know?
They
Viking
should too.
game. No, this is not.
Well, this is a pirate one, yeah.
Right, it's not an Assassin's
It's
Creed.
not Sea of Thieves. We're not thinking of that.
Because they're making the next one is a Viking game.
Yes.
Because it's been almost half a year, so they better.
They're,
Takes place in
supposedly,
Minnesota.
Ragnarok is what they're going to call it. That's its.
That's a good name.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I have
Goldblum.
like another thing I will talk about is how they pushed the engine for 4 specifically. The way that the transitions work and the way that like sailing works is that they like hid the load times in between a lot of weird little like spaces in between, so you never saw the load times.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a launch game
Getting
for the
getting like
Xbox One and PS4.
the load times would be like hidden behind the transition from you see yourself and then it zooms away while you're piloting.
Yeah.
And then it zooms back in, but the load times are in the zoom.
Okay.
So like you'll zoom back in and suddenly you're back at a point where you can do the third person action game stuff. And then you can jump into the water, you can swim to an island. Like honestly, like they really they kicked it up a notch. It in comparison, it does make Assassin's Creed 3 look like shit. I'm just going to say that.
Yep.
Because if this is the one that came right after,
Yeah, it was the first it was both gens. It was a crossover game, but yeah, it was the first Assassin's Creed.
it was a launch
that-
title for the PS4 and
It was.
Xbox One.
Yep.
And it also has the best DLC and
The best.
Cry.
You heard it here.
the best. I don't know if it's the best assassin. He's up there, dude. But have you played Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry?
It stars
Adewale.
Adewale, yeah, that's right.
There's nothing cooler than going into a plantation with a machete and it says kill 20 people and you're just with a machete. You're just like taking down these
Blammo.
slave masters.
Hell yeah, dude.
It is amazing.
That's awesome.
It's only like a 9-hour experience, if that. I wish it was
Just killing slavers.
pretty much. Yeah, you have to collect like 200. You have to free 200 slaves. So there's like you go to the sales block. You're like freeing them from prisons. That's like the side stuff. Just there's some bullshit going on. Go kill that guy.
Fuck yeah.
Right.
It is so good. Adewale is awesome. It's just hatchets and plantations, and it is badass. It's like what is it? Django Unchained levels of cathartic murder.
I'm into
Right.
it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so
There's not
fucking
much
into it.
cathartic murder, but that is one of them.
That's great.
Oh man.
Yeah. So if you haven't played it, it was a free thing on the PS4.
Yeah.
It's gonna crash 5 times throughout you playing it. It's an
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed game. Liberation did the same thing.
It's a Bethesda game. It's like the same Bethesda kind of way that it crashes.
Yes.
They should finish games before they release them.
They should. Which would be a good
But what
segue
about
into
the
Unity.
What about the shareholders?
We need to get the money flowing.
Yes.
If it doesn't come out in holiday time, no one's going to buy it.
Give them some free armor for their characters.
Yeah,
It's a successful franchise.
Don't make it overpowered though. Make it just kind of aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must strangle it.
Can we give them just $5 of in-game currency?
Oh, do you want?
That's better than a fucking canvas bag for Fallout 76.
Do you want a little flag in the corner of your ship to have a personal logo?
Nobody else
I
can
would
have
love
that
that
flag.
Mm, only 10 of them. have it.
If you accept it, though,
Brag to your friends.
if you accept it, you can't get a refund anymore. Just so you know. Assassin's Creed Rogue was the one that came out at the same time. This is 2014.
Never touched it.
It's pretty good.
Me either. I always wanted to.
New York
and I
and
haven't.
the Hudson River Valley around,
you talk about it.
around the 7 Years' War.
Oh.
You play as Shay Cormac, who starts off as an assassin, and so you interact with like Achilles from Assassin's Creed 3, like the mentor for Connor.
Yep.
And you see a lot of the same characters. You run into Hatham Kenway. It's around that time.
A lot of reused assets, probably.
all reused assets, because that's how you make a game a year.
Yep.
There's a really cool sequence. The best thing in the game is when he hasn't switched over yet. He's an assassin. He goes to Lisbon, and he is going to like try and reclaim a piece of Eden, and it triggers an earthquake when he does it, and it's you running out of this city for like a 5-10 minute sequence while everything's destroying it, like it's collapsing. And that's where he becomes pissed off. But then I immediately Googled it. I'm like, earthquake in Lisbon. And it happened. It actually happened. The whole city fell apart.
What?
Yep. And
That's crazy.
yeah, so it's a really
They
cool
predicted
thing.
the past.
They actually,
Good job, Ubisoft.
yep, they changed all the history books when they made this game. I was reading with, I think it's Origins. They had put this one of those like tombs. I haven't played the game where you discover it that hadn't been discovered in the real world yet. And after the game came out, it was discovered, and they're like, "How did this happen?" Like, well, people like a lot of people assumed, according to the structures around there would be one, but everyone's like, "They knew it." they knew it. They got it
right. And I just want to say, I just being kind of like a serious history buff, but I do like a lot of history. I really appreciate just the whole series. You visit all these historical landmarks, and they always have you have a codex in the game, and there's always like a kind of like a smarmy kind of blurb that gives some historical context to all these places that you visit and the people. And I was like that. I learned a lot of, just got a lot of historical knowledge from these games. So
it actually does teach you things.
It really does. And then moving into the newer versions, there are actually full-on modes called museum modes where you just walk in ancient Egypt and look at things, and it will show you.
And they have historians
videos of like, this is what this is.
And they have historians actually narrating and explaining things, right?
Yeah.
I haven't got to experience that yet. I'm really excited to.
Now, how much does that DLC is only like $10 too, right?
For Origins?
For Origins, the walkthrough type of.
I want to say it was in a season pass for sure, but yeah, it wasn't expensive. If it even wasn't.
I never bought the season pass for it. That's the problem.
Okay, yeah. But okay, so back to Rogue.
So some cool things that happen in Rogue. You are a Templar. There are assassins trying to kill you whenever you're running around New York. Like they're jumping out of everywhere trying to get you.
Cool.
Giuliani.
But also you really start to like notice like, oh, that person on the bench is wearing a white coat with red lining. Very inconspicuous.
Whoa, stay away.
You kill Adewale from Freedom Cry in one of the things.
With machete.
At the end, you almost kill Achilles, who is Connor. Yeah. Danny Trejo shows up. It's crazy crossover.
Hey, bitches.
Yeah. I'm not even going to pretend I can do an impersonation.
That wasn't even.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Oh,
mine would just be racist.
The precursor box, which is in the MacGuffin in Rogue, it's sent to Charles Dorian, which is a really cool thing because at the very end of Rogue, you're at the Palace of Versailles with Benjamin Franklin, and that's when you kill Charles Dorian, that is the impetus for Assassin's Creed Unity. That's the main character's father.
Oh,
yep.
I knew that name
that's like the big reveal.
Familiar.
And yeah,
speaking of
Assassin's Creed Unity,
yeah,
I was reading up, and it is the most historically inaccurate telling of the French Revolution maybe ever.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
As someone who likes revolutions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awful.
They fudged a lot.
It's the first revolution. The first big badass one. It's like the World War I.
Right.
You guys are in charge.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I liked this game despite its flaws.
Did you play it on PC?
I played it on PS4.
Okay.
I didn't get a lot of the glitches that a lot of people did. My frame rates didn't drop too heavy. I didn't see like the inner skeletons of like my dad in cutscenes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
no,
those that don't know, this game is reviled for coming out very, very buggy and
unfinished is probably how I would describe it.
And I think even if you don't like follow video games, you've seen the screenshot of this game with the character with just you see his hair and you just see eyeballs and like a pair of teeth. So it was very buggy. I always got the feeling though that this was the first game that was strictly made for the next generation systems. That they developed this thinking the systems were going to be a little more powerful than what they actually were. I always got that vibe because they had huge crowds.
See, I don't think so though.
Really?
The PS3 had such strange hardware that people had a hard time developing for that. They still made games that came out for it. The PS4 is so much more straightforward for developers. It's pretty much the Xbox One. So their porting didn't really make a difference. They didn't have to try as hard, is what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still get that vibe that they were working on the dev kits or just had like specs in mind of what they were going to do. And then finally, they were so far in development of this game, and then they got the final hardware. They're like, oh, shit. But because when you get to the Syndicate, the next game, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
You can tell they scale things down.
Yeah.
You not as many. You don't have the huge crowds that you did in in this game.
Right. I think that's the issue.
You know what I mean? But this is the one where I don't have a lot of memories of.
It's quite forgettable.
Yeah. It's even the lead character. I don't really.
How are you hanging out? You're hanging out with like Napoleon Bonaparte, and you don't remember it. That means they fucked up.
The Marquis de Sade.
Yes.
Robespierre.
Yeah.
However you say his name. Is that right?
Robespierre. Yeah.
One thing that's super fun at the beginning of the game.
Also, really like awful, like real world people who they're like, oh, he's kind of swarthy. Oh, I see. It's like, nah, dude was like big time rapist. Like,
who are we talking about now?
Guy, the Marquis de Sade.
Oh, okay.
Like shit like that, and it's like, oh, he's kind of a player. It's like, no.
Player meant a different thing.
Right, but they're gonna gloss over that.
Bunch of sadists.
Exactly, but I mean, I don't know.
I mean, doorknobs were not invented until 1878, and so unplayable.
This one's on Ubisoft.
There's a lot of doorknobs and door handles that just can't exist. Unplayable.
I hate doorknobs.
I'm so not into it.
Good.
Honestly. The game has this really great opening, though, where you actually get to see like the video game loading screen in game.
Yes.
Where it says it's got all the different characters, like missions you could play.
Yeah.
So Ezio's is called Fear and Loathing in Florence.
That's cool.
The Black Flag is Devils of the Caribbean, and there's one that isn't anything, just called Jazz Age Junkies, which I really want to play. The guys had like a super like classy assassin suit on. I'm like, that looks like a cool game.
I'll be honest with you, like even if you go even a little bit further and you do like beatnik, like assassins in like the 50s and 60s, like Cold War bullshit, I would be so into that. You have no idea. I would reserve it at GameStop, and I fucking hate that place.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Which they're changing their business model from what I read. They're gonna like
they fired about 60 of their regional managers, which is half of their regional managers.
They're going to like try and have more of a spot people want to hang out. They're gonna like have like.
Oh no, that's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. They're not doing well.
Unless you want Harley Quinn statues.
They are doing even worse than predicted. They're not going to be around too much longer.
Don't shop at GameStop, everyone. If you have to and it's the only one near you, it's fine.
You have an Amazon account.
Yeah, yes. I know, but also I'll say just go to Target or whatever. You can find games anywhere. It's not what it used to be. Even collector's editions, you can find them. If you think that GameStop has. If you think you want to go to GameStop because your game has like a special weird skin because you reserved it at GameStop, I'll tell you what. Nobody cares.
You know what pisses me off? Now that they have like different collector's editions for different places.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not going to buy 3 different collector's editions. This is dumb.
Collector's editions used to mean something.
I'm frustrated.
You are. Damn it.
Harry Houdini was assassinated by the Templars. He actually had a piece of Eden.
Fuck. Okay.
Are you just making this shit up?
No, this is from what we learned in the game. What is this? It was used to kill JFK. JFK wanted to go to the moon. The Soviets used it to recover their Apple of Eden. Blah blah blah. I actually liked Assassin's Creed Unity. I think more than a lot of people did. I didn't think it was terrible. Arno was a fine character.
It wasn't bad. It's just another game.
I liked the character that he was raised by Templars, and there's like the forbidden romance thing going on a little bit.
Oh, and he kind of has to. I mean, that's why it's called Unity, because they do eventually kind of get together. So
it's called Unity because it was also they tried to like push the multiplayer aspect of it too.
That's right. It had multiplayer.
Oh, that was bad. Did you guys ever play the multiplayer in this?
No.
I have.
Or maybe I did like one game and I'm just like, I pieced out pretty quickly.
I think that was
if the controls are janky enough single player, which a lot of these have not, a lot of this hadn't evolved in the way that it should have.
Right.
In multiplayer, everyone looks like a fucking idiot. Everyone looks dumb, and
that was me again.
And stealth and multiplayer, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's never going to work.
They introduced campaign co-op. For a player. I never got to try it, and they also a big change that they have for free running. They also have up and down separate controls.
That was important.
I think it was the triggers, right?
Yep.
I think it was the bumpers.
And that way you could not like you have the option of just like climbing down a building fast rather than you have to like hit B and try and grab something.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It flips the camera around. Instead, they just let you fucking do it.
That's nice.
Free running down was a good introduction.
I think this was a game that they did introduce the investigation missions, and I was kind of like those where you had to like look for evidence to kind of piece together like a murder or something. Like there were side missions and shit that you had to do.
Did they ditch the tailing missions?
No, never.
Ugh.
Didn't it? No, maybe not. I don't know.
I feel there's tailing missions and through Syndicate.
Okay,
there may be less of them.
Yeah.
There are not many in Origins. I think they really got.
There are. Yeah.
They got.
I don't
the
think
fucking.
It's one of those things where I don't think it's a bad concept. It's just I don't want to do it more than once. And when I'm following somebody and through no problem of my own, my guy jumps the wrong way and triggers something, that's like I'm just gonna not play your game.
Right.
I have zero patience for that shit.
3 had a bunch of tailing missions.
Dude, they all have I haven't played Origins or Odyssey, but they all have a lot of.
I remember being specifically annoyed when those popped up. It's not fun.
There's an immersion and it's like forcing you to like move slowly through a place. I think they could be done good. They're not though.
What if there were like my thought is what if there were like button prompts where you had to like not even like in a quick time event way, but what if it was something where you had to like move your face to a certain side to make it look like you're not like, because then it could be about button presses. It could actually be like a skill based thing, and it could be kind of judged.
And it shouldn't be something you can fail. It should be something that you could succeed at.
Yes, you can succeed at it, or you can succeed at it well. Maybe
more
you get
Florians,
an extra bit
more
of
money, more experience, whatever it is,
or extra bits of information.
Yeah.
Like maybe like you find out that the person you're about to assassinate really loves staying in a certain room of the house because he works there late at night. And if you fail, maybe someone will be like, "Oh, I think we're being watched. Right. Let's walk away."
Some kind of natural consequence.
Yeah.
Natural. Yeah.
We're still evolving into that stuff though.
It's true.
So
I didn't get to play the DLC for Unity, but I was reading there's a really cute one where you're essentially the Secret Service for Napoleon, and it's him on a date with Josephine, and you're just like kind of making sure the date goes well.
Oh, really?
Do they have earpieces?
It's just, I have no idea what really goes on other than you're kind of just like protecting this date, and it sounds cute. And I've read a lot about Napoleon and Josephine and all that, and that sounds like a fun take on that.
I'd play it.
Yeah, that's Unity.
I'd make sure everything went wrong.
Next was Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and at this point, they were coming out so often that I just couldn't even pay attention anymore.
Yeah, this was a time where, after this one, Ubisoft took a year off because sales weren't great.
When you say they took a year off, there was just 2 years between the next game, which is like less than a lot of companies. Like Halo 2 versus Halo 3, there was a big break.
Well, it's
like
the same.
We're taking 2 years between releases, guys.
Well, that's because they just have 3 different studios working on games simultaneously. It's the same way that Call of Duty does that. So it makes sense. So it's technically they're getting 3 years between every single release.
Yeah.
Each one is at least.
And they're huge teams. Like Ubisoft has like probably the biggest.
It's Ubisoft.
It is
ubiquitous software.
I always called it Ubisoft.
It's Ubi.
But then I saw they use like a
ubiquitous software.
Yep.
Yeah.
They use an A instead of an A-N.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's Ubi.
It's ubiquitous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It sounds dumb. I prefer Ubisoft.
I'll straight. I'm an unapologist. It is Ubisoft forever.
I mean, I say fuck it. It's a corporation, so whatever.
And
the Dogcast has spoken.
Well. Yes.
I mean, like, listen, look, it's all about the games. It's all about the creators. That's all I care about. I don't care about the corporations behind it.
It's in the game.
Right.
It's all in the game.
It's in the game.
It's in the game.
What company was that? It's in the game.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I don't want to be quoting EA right now.
Oh, right.
Never.
All right. Never? Okay. Fair enough. But I did like this game.
Yeah.
So far they've been
Apparently.
going progressively like fresher in the timeline. They've been getting more recent with Syndicate. This is 1868.
This is the farthest they've gone, though, isn't it?
Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia takes place in 1917.
That game, I don't give a fuck.
Did you watch the Fassbender film?
I also.
Oh God.
I mean, that was different, but also
I don't know if it's
the Chronicles one, the Russia one, literally takes it's ripped from the comic book.
The Chronicles games are cool. The gameplay is just so different, but the art design is awesome. I dig it.
Okay, I'll give you art design.
Like the Russian one, like all the background, it's just
enough.
it's all a lot of reds. It's just stylish. It's
Tetris blocks falling.
I wish. Bing, boo, doo, bing.
Yes, a dodge.
That song is a dirty song, and a lot of people don't know that.
It is a very dirty song.
This is the dirtiest.
It wasn't made for Tetris. It's like a Russian folk song about a guy kind of trying to buy sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not kind of.
I was gonna say yeah.
I like Syndicate's characters. I think that with Unity, Arno was like not cool, and a lot of people said like, we want someone cool.
I mean,
again.
he's like a Qui-Gon Jinn to find one fucking character aspect.
I
of him.
think for this one,
stoic.
Yeah, bullshit. That's like that's what you call someone who has nothing.
Yeah. He's nice.
It's like he's stoic, but it's not mysterious stoic. It's like I'll figure it out.
I think this was. I don't know, for a mainline Assassin's Creed game, like I guess I respect Ubisoft for having this brother or sister thing going on, because you play two characters, twins, right?
Barely though. I hear only Eevee's like 25% of the game.
It's up to you. A lot of it you can choose who you play as. There's certain character specific ones.
I didn't like Jacob at all. I thought he was a fucking idiot.
He's kind of brash,
and I think. I think they were afraid to go full on woman. I know they did it for like liberation, like let you play.
We'll put her on the Vita. Put her on the Vita.
Exactly. So
they were still afraid. Like Cassandra is the most popular character in Odyssey.
If you're not
by a long shot.
Yeah, if you played a dude in Odyssey, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Alexios or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want to be the badass bisexual chick.
Cassandra's. I banged my way to the top, baby.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Of course you
Cassandra's
did.
A badass.
Of course
I
you
love
did.
Her. She's like one of my favorites. But anyways, I know when this came out in the kind of the period of time where there was a lot of scrutiny on like
2015 does not. Oh my God, it does not feel that long.
No,
ago.
It doesn't.
Well, yes, it was a year after the previous game, and a year after the previous game, and a year after the previous.
Well, they realized pretty quick they could not annualize this shit. They realized that franchise burnout, much like Star Wars is experiencing now. They're like, yeah, we'll fucking take a few years off.
Yes.
How about that?
We're gonna retool some things.
I mean,
because most people aren't done with the other games.
Honestly, as long as they keep giving a fresh location and a fresh historical perspective, I'm willing to play them.
Yeah.
They might just be rentals or borrows, but
right. I mean, the hardcore willing to do that, but they need to sell these things, and
the fan base to this is rabid.
Yes.
Though the fan base to the Assassin's Creed series in general, they are diehard. They know everything. They know all of your Hitler, Winston Churchill bullshit, and they know it by heart, and they don't think it's dumb. Right. I'll tell you that much.
They think
because
it's real.
I've talked to you. They're like, and then this happened, and I'll be like,
the Hashashin.
The Hashashin. The Hashashin.
God. Anyways,
yes.
But yeah, you get the party with fucking Alexander Graham Bell, Karl Marx, Charles Dickens, Queen Victoria.
I want a party.
Charles Darwin.
I was going to say, who's the other? Darwin. God, everybody was in this fucking game. Just one after the other.
And the queen congratulates you at the end. I remember it's like, and she's like, "Thank you very much." And I'm like, it was more like,
we're gonna break into
they're all inbred.
We're breaking into the Buckingham Palace. We're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Oh wait, we don't have one.
The carriage chasing was very fun. Riding the carriages. That was like probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite thing in that series.
That was cool.
They started doing a lot more with skill points and upgradable things, which I know is much more RPG based later on in the series.
Correct.
Yeah. Believe it or not, they're looking for a piece of Eden in the game. I don't know if you guys have heard about these.
Played it, so I don't know.
No,
they haven't done that since the last game.
Jesus.
They're looking for the Shroud of Eden,
the Shroud of Turin.
Which, you know what's fun about the Shroud of Eden? It was actually owned by Jesus Christ at one point. That's why he was crucified, because he possessed the Shroud of Eden.
That sounds right.
It sounds right.
No, honestly, that sounds good.
It is a nanotechnology matter regenerator.
So
naturally,
it brings people back from the dead.
It can keep you immortal too.
Runs off of midichlorians.
So they can kind of work Christianity into this.
That's why they're looking for it. It was cool. And a lot of Edward Kenway, when he retired moved to London as an assassin, kind of his old life. A lot of his stuff is lingering, and you kind of dealing with Edward Kenway stuff. I like
that, because at the end, it's basically the epilogue is you back in London and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And then it's like, oh, and here's Hatham.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, that fucker.
That fucking turd.
Oh,
should have flushed him.
Yeah, honestly.
Except for Connor's sake.
Honestly. I like Connor.
Say his name again.
Connor.
Say Connor's name again.
Rahonagadon.
That sounds great.
Can we actually hold on? I'm actually going to look it up.
I've tried to look it up. I couldn't find someone saying it.
Yeah.
There was a really cool DLC.
If I'm right about this, everyone has to give me the biggest high five.
Dunk.
You got it.
Okay.
It's not Redonkadunk. There was a really awesome Jack the Ripper DLC for Syndicate. Did you play it?
I did not. No.
It's amazing.
But I wanted.
It's that investigation stuff you were talking about earlier. It's you trying to solve Jack the Ripper.
Or did I?
Oh, here we go.
It's not going to be what you think.
Hey Siri.
Hold on. Just say the fucking thing.
Is this like a 900 number?
I'm drinking a cool ice.
Yes.
No. Next one. This really sucks.
We're watching an advertisement for the next Transformers film.
There's no way to say it's he who must not be named.
Renisa Gerhard.
Oh,
George
good.
Papar.
It says it right here. It's got pronunciations.
Radana Hagon.
I got it.
Hey!
I got it.
Nice
Fuck
job,
yeah.
man.
I didn't even have to watch the stupid video. Jesus,
did it.
get to the point. God, YouTube.
Altair ibn Ala Ahud.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, guys, we are pushing 2 hours here.
All right.
Do we want to talk about the newer ones, or do we want to save that for another day?
No, let's do it quick. The modern day, they have a new thing now with Layla. They've introduced another character.
Yeah.
Who is the new?
She's got you on your knees.
And she's supposed to be prophesied as the next chosen one.
Yeah,
I find out at the end of Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. What do you? I haven't played the games.
Look, I like these ones specifically because you're not wearing a fucking white robe. You're running around. You're doing your shit.
You can if you want, though.
You
highly
can.
customizable.
You can wear Edward Kenway's white robe. I'm sure,
God.
right? You can
Pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Ezio's sandals.
Huge.
Ezio's real sandals.
I remember those sandals. It's like going to a fucking Renaissance fair, and then you see Assassin's Creed. Like
Totally.
People, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's period accurate, dude, because they were there.
I mean, yeah, the best thing for a stealthy assassin to wear is a big white robe.
I mean, what do we need to talk about? An Odyssey, you're Leonidas' grandson and Pythagoras' son.
Yeah.
Origins looks really good. Origins look like it's still trying to be pretty accurate historically.
They actually apparently got pretty close. There are
Yeah.
obvious historians who went against a lot of it, and it's just kind of like...
But it's conjecture.
But it's a fucking video game.
And it's conjecture because there wasn't concrete things for them to go through,
right.
so they went for the best educated guess.
They actually went with the idea that the people who built the pyramids were not slaves; they were workers, and they got paid with beer every night. Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Dogcast
that's like
approved, baby.
It's like modern day jobs.
I mean, pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean, like they just had to do it, and then they had shits in the morning, and then they had to haul big blocks. Nobody still knows how they did that, though.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard Origins is beautiful. No loading screens.
Yes.
Underwater melee.
The way you switch between you and your eagle, like it is revolutionary because it gives you a view of everything, except it's not like looking at a map. You zoom out and then your eagle spots your target, and then you can zoom back in and your mini map
It's
will
nice.
have
I
that.
like it's an actual fucking eagle vision. You
Yeah.
are the eagle flying around, you know.
because he's the first technical assassin.
Yes. And these games kind of have a different structure to them. They're more open. They're completely like open world.
Extremely.
And mission structure wise, whereas the previous games are kind of like you finish a mission and then immediately you just go do the next mission until you're done with the story. These just, you got shit tons of like side quests. You can go to the next missions if you want to, but I know just talking about Odyssey, Odyssey was like the first game that I played in the series where it was a little bit predatory when it first came out because they really were trying to push you to do the season or the DLC that would help you level up quicker.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, because you literally, Odyssey, you had to grind to.
I hate that. I hate
sometimes
that.
progress.
It's good in this one though. You want to do it in the same way that you wanted to climb buildings in the previous games. A lot of the stuff in this is small assassinations where you can kind of like, where you'll be like, oh, it was nifty. I'm getting practice. It's not as repetitive as any of the other ones at all, because they'll give you different situations. Like, oh, you're on a farm and there's no real way to sneak up, so you have to approach at nighttime.
You throw a dildo in the other direction. They
goes, huh?
They look at that.
Yeah. Ancient dildos.
That's what happens.
They were there. Yeah. Made out of lambskin
Or rock.
So
if you're brave enough.
and these games are huge, like just huge, especially Odyssey. I mean,
I don't
insane.
think I could ever even touch the rest of that map.
I got 155 hours in Odyssey.
Jesus Christ.
You run into Herodotus, like one of the first historians.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
Yep.
This was, and so
Socrates?
Odyssey takes place before Origins, so they're not assassins. They call it Assassin's
Because Origins
Creed.
is the first assassin.
Yeah, he creates the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Because he picks up a necklace and there's like the imprint of the
Kind of.
something like that. I don't know.
It's a bird skull.
It's kind of. It's more or less like he gets inspired to become an assassin based off the death of his child and his estrangement from his wife thereafter.
Yeah.
So you play as
Estrangement
both of them
from
in
your
that.
wife. I know that one.
Oh man,
Jeez
preach to the
Louise,
choir.
Yikes.
That bitch.
You assassinate Caesar, right? Spoiler warning.
Do you?
Do you?
He's in the game. I don't know if I can't remember.
Okay,
You mean
so-
with Cleopatra and Ptolemy?
Well, the main character of Odyssey, she lives for a very. She's still alive.
Is it Alexios doesn't live as well? It's just her?
You don't want anyone else other than Cassandra.
You at the beginning of the game.
He's
you,
a dickbag.
You can
huh?
choose one of
You
them.
choose which one you play.
You choose
as.
basically. They're like alternate reality.
I started it just to like see the beginning, and I chose Alexios, and he was just like sitting there. I'm like,
He's
this
boring
dude,
as
like, this
fuck.
dude looks dumb.
The voice actor for Cassandra is so much better.
She's amazing.
Her characterization is so much better.
Do they
I like
have
maternal figures.
fucking
and-
Separate stories though. So
No, it's the same.
It's the same story.
It's the same story.
So then why would you? Okay,
It's if you want to experience better acting and you want
that's
to
the only
experience.
difference. Because they're
Yeah,
they're
but
they're
also-
also in this. They're also both in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interchangeable.
Weird.
Yeah.
But you want Cassandra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone
don't play
kind of
the
agrees.
dude.
Alexios
Duly
is
noted.
boring as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a badass
Everyone agrees.
But so they bring back naval combat a little bit.
It's my girlfriend. She's on Facebook.
What?
She's there. Allison Smith.
Get
what did
off
she
of
say?
Facebook,
The
Allison.
unofficial sponsor
Everybody
of
knows
Milwaukee
now.
Podcasters.
Cool Ice.
Yes.
The unofficial sponsor of Milwaukee Podcasters. Very cool.
It's true.
So the apple in Origins is stored in the Library of Alexandria,
Which burns down.
later found by Al-Mualim. It's wielded by Elizabeth I of England and Mahatma Gandhi, who was murdered by the Templars.
So they really fucked up the timeline of this because the Odyssey takes place so much more before, and they have this
About
kind of
400
end
years
scene.
before, yeah.
They have this end scene where it's Cassandra like raising her kid, and it's like a legitimate cutscene, but then it shows like the pyramids being built and shit. And I'm like, no, that's what the fuck are you doing? It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's not how that worked at all. It's like, all right, I get what you're trying to do, showing the passage of time, but good fucking God.
The DLC for Odyssey, one of them, like I think it's called The Legend of the First Blade.
Yeah.
That's when I think supposed to be like the true beginning of like the first.
Yeah,
you meet.
They really try to connect it to Origins.
Did you play that?
Real hard. No.
Okay. Yeah.
I only watch shit about it.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
When I'm done with a game, sometimes I can't be bothered to go back. I will watch stuff about it. It's like, oh, I had my experience. I am done.
What kind of a fan are you, Dylan?
I'm a bad fan.
We had you on this podcast because we thought you liked the games.
Let's talk Fire Emblem sometime.
Let's talk about the DS Assassin's Creed games.
Do we have to?
No.
Oh my god.
There was a movie. It sucked. That's it.
Michael Fassbender.
So let's talk about. Let's each choose our 2 favorite games on the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
geez.
first, man.
All right. Well, putting on the spot, I will have to say Assassin's Creed 2. Man, I fucking played the shit out of that. After that one, I would have to go with Black Flag.
Yeah. I don't know if it counts. I'm gonna go for the DLC for Freedom Cry is amazing. It's also with Black Flag. It's a DLC for it, so I'm gonna.
It's essentially Black Flag.
My second favorite, then I will go ahead and say is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I actually like Jacob and Evie quite a bit, and the DLCs are fun. I like the time period.
Sure,
but
time period's great.
It's Black Flag. Not only because of Black Flag, but Freedom Cry, that DLC is next level. You have it if you have a PS4 account. Go play it.
That's awesome.
Only if you downloaded it that month.
Well, if you didn't, just go pay for it because
if you want to
rip through a plantation,
it's probably $10 at this point.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and you can just have a machete and rip through a plantation. There's not a better feeling than like you're doing good by murdering.
Yes,
that's what Assassin's Creed is about. Dylan?
Definitely Black Flag. I'm a huge fan of the Golden Age of Pirates. I know a lot of sea shanties. I knew them before that. And then I would be sitting in my couch and I'd be like, "What do you do with it?" And then it would be, or "Oh, Billy Riley." It's like it felt good to me. Like it was a depressing time in my life too. I was just like, "Oh, I can fucking absorb myself in this." And then also, you know what? Origins.
I was gonna say it's those new ones are
legit to quit the combat. The way they changed the combat, I really have to applaud them. It is more. I'm gonna say it, and this is so. I really hate that I'm gonna say this.
It's okay.
It's very Dark Souls.
It's the Dark Souls of Assassin's Creed games,
It's
really.
precision. It's precision based on where you're pushing the stick. It's not about whether or not you can counter people and kick their ass by doing a few button presses. It's literal, like you have a spear, you have a shield, and you can equip more than just a spear or a shield. You can do a bunch of stuff, and it's like, blam, I got him. Oh, there's someone behind me. You can quick turn, and then you can hit them there.
Right.
It's perfect. I loved it. Odyssey I have not played much of because it didn't run well on my PC.
However, it's worth playing. But I do
to.
like Origins a little bit better than Odyssey, I think.
Once I get a 6-core processor, I'll put it in. I've got a 980 graphics card. It should be good.
You nerds.
Your 980.
But it's just the way they're all interacting. It's really hard to get it all to work properly.
I got a Nintendo.
Yeah, I has a Nintendo.
I got a PlayStation Classic the other day.
He's got VR. I tried VR for the first time at Brad's place.
Wow, Brad.
I just want to say I got the PlayStation Classic with one of those cards that come pre-downloaded with 100 games.
Sure.
I just immediately chose WCW Nitro, and I pulled out my PlayStation 1 cheat codes.
You're one of those people?
And I got my cheat codes, and I instantly unlocked all the characters, and it was... Talk about a trip down memory lane.
Good job. Did it hold up?
Good or bad?
Oh, no. I don't know how I spent time playing it.
Of course. But that's a lot of games.
I also accidentally started playing Alundra for like an hour, and I was like,
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Alundra is like the PlayStation 1 answer to Zelda, and it's as good but different. You dive into dreams of characters to like save them.
Listen, bring it over to my house sometime. We'll play it. I really have. I'm
not going to watch you play an RPG for 10 hours.
I just want to play like the first dungeon, and then I'll be like,
an RPG, you don't get to play the first dungeon for the first 2 hours. Okay?
Yeah, I watched you play Persona 5 all the way through.
Yeah,
in one sitting.
That sounds like a terrible podcast.
Oh God, it'd be horrible.
We're doing a 110-hour podcast.
Oh wow, we have to stay up for 5 days. Cool.
Yeah, we're not getting out of that one alive.
Half of it'll just be us sleeping.
Yeah. So This has been a very constructive talk, gentlemen. It has been great.
Agreed.
I think we can all agree that we all like Assassin's Creed, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't.
I don't know if I like it. I like it, but I also hate it. I hate it as much as I like it.
Okay. You know what?
I've had a lot of crashing over the past few days where the game just like, sorry, we don't know what's going on.
You just have to go with it, man.
The error wasn't planned.
Yeah.
But
all right, so Brad doesn't like it.
No, he
doesn't know yet.
There's such there's a real magic to this. It's why it survived so long. I'll concede that. I'm always, every time they release one, even still after having such successes as Origins and Odyssey, I'll be like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, why else would I give a fuck? Like, truly. Yep. Like, there have been so many of them, and so many of them I haven't even fucking played all the way through.
I'm same here. I've missed complete.
And why should you care about something that they release constantly? It's becoming Star Wars at this point.
I was so into this 3 days ago, and after reading so much about it and playing Liberation today and this and that, I was like, I'm going to beat a few of these, but I'm taking a break.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of it. I'm almost caught up though.
You can actually skip Origins and go to Odyssey. Brad,
Nope.
If you wanted to.
That's not how I roll.
You could. Although I would actually probably.
You're just saying Origins is one of your favorite ones. You're saying skip it.
I would play Origins over Odyssey right now.
Odyssey is a refinement of it, but for me, I like the setting and everything better. That's pretty much how I rated
for Origins, or
I like ancient Egypt a lot.
Okay, yeah,
and also like the way you can hunt like crocodiles and shit. I thought it was cool.
Yes.
You're right though. There is a magic to these games where it does transport you to a time and a place and a historical setting, and there is. Even when it's not 100% accurate, you feel like you're there, and you feel like you're having an experience, and you're learning about.
There is a bit of an educational factor, like however slight, to these games.
It's up to you, because I always like to go into the database, and it says like what this building is, and I'll read through that. I'll skim things.
Yep.
I'm really good at reading headlines, so I'll just read the first like few lines of something at least.
Welcome to America.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. But. They are doing something unique, and especially with the discovery mode that they introduced in Origins and Odyssey, I think that's super cool and super unique.
Yeah,
where they are just showing this is a pretty accurate representation of the time period.
Yeah,
here's some historians talking about it. We did what we could to like make this accurate, so enjoy it, and I'm into that.
They played in like classrooms apparently.
I believe it. Yeah. That ancient Egypt DLC, yeah. Man,
I mean, only the cool teachers, clearly, because the other ones will be like, "No, just read about it."
Yeah, I loved going through this guy's Reddit post. Like, he was a hardcore historian, and he went through each game. He's like, "What was right and wrong about this game?" And they're like,
"I love it." Was he autistic?
Must have been.
Right.
He's like, George Washington.
You can't laugh at me.
George Washington's character was the biggest like argument for Assassin's Creed 3, but like hearing him talk about unity was great. He's like, this is atrocious.
You'll have to post a link to this.
Yeah. I actually want to see that. That's funny.
That's worth putting on the page.
And so on the next podcast, we're going to talk about all of the Assassin's Creed, not knockoffs, but spiritual successors, Middle Earth.
I think we might have to take a break.
Even
possibly.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn is kind of related to it in a way.
It's close. I would even say Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is related. Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
They did a lot of different things, innovative things, but it comes from that same cloth. Yeah. Like just the Assassin's Creed 1, like that melee combat was a pretty new thing when it came out. The way you interacted with people melee.
Okay.
You fucking asshole.
I'm sorry.
I'm from South Dakota, eh? That's how we say it.
I heard it too.
I'm from Wisconsin.
That's right.
Yeah.
Melee?
We've been talking for too long, and we need to keep drinking more.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Dylan, so let's pimp your podcast for a little bit. Where can people get a hold of you?
It's not my podcast. I'll put that out there automatically.
He's there drunk sometimes.
I'm there drunk a lot of the time because if no one else is there, I'll show up. It's pretty much it. It's better in 3D. It's a great podcast. My girlfriend Allie, who has chimed in on this one specifically, she is everyone's favorite co-host of this podcast.
Right
no
on.
fucking lie.
And
Good job, Allie. Keep up the good work.
Everyone hates
She thinks
Matt.
She thinks people don't like her. Fuck that. It's not true.
Not true.
It's really, truly not true. Matt talks fast.
We don't like Matt.
Yeah, we don't like Matt.
We hate Matt.
Fucking Matt.
I mean, and I
Besides
show up
being in
and
a
I show up
great
to make
band.
things. I show up to actually be like comedy on these things.
There's going to be some episodes about Lord of the Rings coming soon.
Yes.
And they tried to restrict it to one episode, and I forced them
didn't
to do
work.
3 separate
It didn't
episodes.
fucking
So
work.
look,
Yeah.
they will be coming.
That's
We
the way
recorded
to
them.
do it.
They don't go live. They release them 10 years later. So
don't-
in 10 years, be ready because I talk a lot about Fellowship of the Ring.
Nice.
I don't have social media either.
Okay.
You can
Do you have a phone
find
number?
you can find me by sacrificing a chicken at the crossroads.
There you go.
It does work.
And it does work. It truly does. It could be any intersection. All you have to do
Just
is be
any
willing to kill a
crossroads.
chicken.
Any
Yeah,
crossroads.
I mean, like,
And
I
Dylan
mean,
shows
as
up
long as-
with 6-pack of cool
as long
ice.
as the blood sacrifice is real, you can't kill prior and then dump blood on it. You just have to you have to do it fresh.
Oh, wow. Well, we can expect another statement to PETA after that happens.
We do not condone the pirate lifestyle or sacrificing chickens.
Also, I had a great time on this podcast, guys. If you want me on any time,
Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
be here.
Dude,
been awesome.
you brought... You were a heavy hitter. I wasn't
Yep.
sure. It's like, I wonder how many games you actually played, but you're talking about game engines. Like, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
This guy games.
Yeah. You're an official.
I'm a big time gamer.
You can find me at Good City Brewing. I'll get you a beer if you come in.
yeah, congrats on the new gig, man.
Thank you. Loaf of White Brad on Instagram and Twitter.
Loaf of White Brad.
Loaf of White Brad.
I like that.
Yep.
Yep. And I got to piss and drink more beer. But besides that, dude, Assassin's Creed, it's really good, but it's also stupid. But it's really good.
It's stupid good. That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
It's kind of mindless,
Yeah.
but a good
also
mindless.
incredibly mindful at the same time.
I mean, their stealth is.
I don't know. It's a mixed bag. Tom,
Think about Metal
where can we find you? Besides
Well,
right
you
here?
can find me on the Facebooks, Twitter at Tom_Wagner, and you can get a hold of Hair of the Dogcast, us at Hair of the Dogcast.
Is that the name of the podcast?
at gmail.com. Yeah, that's true.
I didn't know.
And Twitter us at Hot Dogcast.
I tweet sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got Mike Detterman here on the chat.
Fucking Mike Detterman, we love
Mike
you.
Detterman, we love the fuck out
That's
of you, dude.
cool. But anyways, yes, thank you for joining us on this marathon episode of Hair of the Dogcast. All right, so from all of us at Hair of the Dogcast, please have a great night. We'll see you next time, and